it's unfortunate that this year, because of COVID, people are not talking too much about climate change. They're not talking too much about biodiversity, when in fact, most people in 2019 thought that 2020 was going to be the year where these two topics. 3, 2, 1.
Please tell us about the main point of the hackathon.
Well, the main point of the hackathon is to bring a forum where students can make use of their ability, their skills, their networks to solve the problem of sustainability.
Hello everyone, we are from
Bangkok.
We are from Mahidol University from a faculty of ICT. We joined this hackathon because we recognize the problem of transportation that is happening inside Thailand. As a youth of Thailand, we truly believe that it is our responsibility to tackle this issue, and that's why we are here.
We try to use technology to empower the economic development and inclusiveness and also the entrepreneurship spirit.
We are from ICT Synergy.
So today we're here to join the Hackathon 2020, and we're interested in this event because, well, it looks interesting, right? And we think that we're gonna get a lot of connections. We were thinking along the lines of something addressing the government COVID policies.
And we have to develop our economic system, social system, and our technological system within the realm of nature. So that kind of information, that kind of awareness we have created. So I think with that, I'd like to welcome again to this Sustainability Hackathon, and I hope that you will bring very interesting idea in order to hack.
We will release a challenge. So the challenge for now is one of the best secrets on that planet. Only 2 people know it. Our president, Eden Boone, and Nopia. So if the challenge come up, I know you might be very, very tempted to think about, Google, what other people do, but you may reconsider, Think about it yourself before you look what other people do. Try to put your own thing into it, the new disruptive way.
One of the things that many universities around the world are trying to do these days is to connect with the outside world more actively, and doing that, it's a two-way communication. So we learn from what the industry needs, and so the universities can develop their curriculum, their research, and their ideas to meet the demand of the industry.
Well, first of all, they will realize how important sustainability is because they'll be researching this topic as they try to come up with ideas. So this is a learning experience which is extremely valuable. Secondly, they will be using their brain and exercising all their brain cells to try to figure out innovative and creative and wild solutions on how to tackle problems of dealing with sustainability. So who knows? They may come up with things that are extremely important for all the rest of us. And whether or not they do that, at least they will go through the journey of trying to find solutions to these important problems with the human race. it's unfortunate that this year, because of COVID, people are not talking too much about climate change, they're not talking too much about biodiversity, when in fact, most people in 2019 thought that 2020 was going to be the year for these two topics. 3, 2, 1.
Please tell us about the main point of the hackathon.
Well, the main point of the hackathon is to bring a forums where students can make use of their ability, their skills, their networks to solve the problem of sustainability.
Hello everyone, we are from
Bangkok.
We are from Mahidol University from a faculty of ICT. We joined this hackathon because we recognize the problem of transportation that is happening inside Thailand. As a youth of Thailand, we truly believe that it is our responsibility to tackle this issue, and that's why we are here.
We try to use technology to empower the economic development and inclusiveness and also the entrepreneurship spirit.
We are from ICT Synergy.
So today we're here to join the Hackathon 2020, and we're interested in this event because, well, it looks interesting, right? And we think that we're gonna get a lot of connections. We were thinking along the lines of something addressing the government COVID policies.
And we have to develop our economic system, social system, and our technological system within the realm of nature. So that kind of information, that kind of awareness we have created. So I think with that, I'd like to welcome again to this Sustainability Hackathon, and I hope that you will bring very interesting idea in order to hack.
We will release a challenge. So the challenge for now is one of the best secrets on that planet. Only two people know it. Our president, Eden Boone, and Nopia. So if the challenge come up, I know you might be very, very tempted to think about, Google what other people do, but you may reconsider, Think about it yourself before you look what other people do. Try to put your own thing into it, the new disruptive way.
One of the things that many universities around the world are trying to do these days is to connect with the outside world more actively, and doing that, it's a two-way communication. So we learn from what the industry needs, and so the universities can develop their curriculum, their research, and their ideas to meet the demand of the industry.
Well, first of all, they will realize how important sustainability is because they'll be researching this topic as they try to come up with ideas. So this is a learning experience which is extremely valuable. Secondly, they will be using their brain and exercising all their brain cells to try to figure out innovative and creative and wild solutions on how to tackle problems of dealing with sustainability. So who knows? They may come up with things that are extremely important for all the rest of us. And whether or not they do that, at least they will go through the journey of trying to find solutions to these important problems for the human race. It's unfortunate that this year, because of COVID, people are not talking too much about climate change, they're not talking too much about biodiversity, when in fact, most people in 2019 thought that 2020 was going to be the year where these two topics. 3, 2, 1.
Please tell us about the main point of the hackathon.
Well, the main point of the hackathon is to bring a forums where students can make use of their ability, their skills, their networks to solve the problem of sustainability.
Hello everyone, we are from
Bangkok.
We are from Mahidol University from a faculty of ICT. We joined this hackathon because we could recognize the problem of transportation that is happening inside Thailand. As a youth of Thailand, we truly believe that it is our responsibility to tackle this issue, and that's why we are here.
We try to use technology to empower the economic development and inclusiveness and also the entrepreneurship spirit.
We are from ICT Synergy.
So today we're here to join the Hackathon 2020, and we're interested in this event because, well, it looks interesting, right? And we think that we're gonna get a lot of connections. We were thinking along the lines of something addressing the government COVID policies.
And we have to develop our economic system, social system, and our technological system within the realm of nature. So that kind of information, that kind of awareness we have created. So I think with that, I'd like to welcome again to this Sustainability Hackathon, and I hope that you will bring very interesting idea in order to hack.
We will release a challenge. So the challenge for now is one of the best secrets on that planet. Only 2 people know it. Our president, Eden Boone, and Nopia. So if the challenge come up, I know you might be very, very tempted to think about, Google, what other people do, but you may reconsider, Think about it yourself before you look what other people do. Try to put your own thing into it, the new disruptive way.
One of the things that many universities around the world are trying to do these days is to connect with the outside world more actively, and doing that, it's a two-way communication. So we learn from what the industry needs, and so the universities can develop their curriculum, their research, and their ideas to meet the demand of the industry.
Well, first of all, they will realize how important sustainability is because they'll be researching this topic as they try to come up with ideas. So this is a learning experience which is extremely valuable. Secondly, they will be using their brain and exercising all their brain cells to try to figure out innovative and creative and wild solutions on how to tackle problems of dealing with sustainability. So who knows? They may come up with things that are extremely important for all the rest of us. And whether or not they do that, at least they will go through the journey of trying to find solutions to these important problems for the human race.
Good morning. Yeah, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good. Yeah, look like everyone quiet. Good morning. Okay, for the sake of time, we need to start now. So this morning we have several important speakers to share their experience, their views, and I want the participants to try to pick up what they are saying, what they are sharing. So maybe you can pick up some important keywords, some important advice, and you can try to incorporate their advice, their view, their opinion into your solution. So that's the idea for inviting them to speak, to share their experience. So trying to get the points they want to say, trying to get some advice, experience, and try to incorporate them in your solutions. I think that's very important because these people, if without the hackathon, I don't think you have much time. You don't. You have time, or you have an opportunity to see them. Okay, so that is the chance that you can, listen to them and try to come up with some questions after their talks. Okay, so our first speaker, Professor Anil Kumar Anal from our third school. He's going to talk about healthy food and healthy eating for elderly. And he's going to give a 10-minute talk. And then the next speaker, Mr. Ekamal Paetayanan. He's going to talk about digital technology and living habits of the people with disabilities. And the third speaker, Dr. Mostaq Ahmed, he's on site with us. He's from the United Nations Environmental Program in Bangkok. I think these are the most important speaker this morning, and they will share their rich experience and opinions about how they think, what solution would be for elderly and people with disabilities. So for that, I would like to invite Professor Anil to speak, please. Professor Anil, if you are ready, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Good morning, all. Thank you very much, Professor Nofia. Let me first apologize for not being there in person to present. Actually, I'm in another meeting, the middle of another meeting, which has been ongoing for my since last 5 days till today. So could not manage to come there, and I'll try to give you reflection bit, and then I'll be
recording in progress.
I'll be happy to answer if you have any questions, to give my insights on the topic which is decided. Again, and I wish all the best to all the participants for this event, and wish all great success as well. Professor Nofia, my sound is clear, right?
Yeah, it's very clear here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, I did not, as like mentioned, I'm in the middle of the meetings, so could not make the slide even though I wanted. Last night was a bit with because first time for me after COVID joining this conducting myself workshop, and a lot of people from Europe and Southeast Asian are here. Here means in Bangkok actually. So I have been occupied with all these meetings. So sorry for that. But anyway, you have any questions, feel free to ask me today, all day, anytime, send messages. I'll be happy to answer. Okay, I start with the first, aging society. What is this mean for all of us? and why it is now concern. So as you might be knowing, already discussed hopefully yesterday as well, the aging society is, especially we are talking the people having the age coming over 60 plus, which is index given by UNESCAP, UNESCAP as well. And if you see the trend of growing of that age population is much more higher in coming years. And if I talk globally, the range is going around 25 to 30% of the population in the global scenario. And especially when the average is increasing from 15% by 2015 to now, and it is likely to be doubled in many of the countries, especially the developed countries. And you look that the Japan is number one, then followed by Italy and all other similarly. By number population, obviously China and India are there, but by percentage. And you can see in the Thailand event, the current is around 17 to 18%, but in 2050 is likely to increase by 30% as well. So in coming 20, 25 years, half, means 1/3 of the population will be aging the population. And in between, you saw that we have such a pandemic, the COVID-19 and the scenario we saw already, that especially the casualties, the deaths. If you recall, in 2020, when it started this COVID-19, the pandemic, a lot of people, even in the developed countries, like starting in Italy, Spain, US, UK, and then coming to the developing countries in Asia and those, the majority of the casualties were the aged people who were above 60 plus or even higher the population, or the people who were having some other diseases even in the young age. Now that concerns brought a lot of attention to people like us who are food scientists. What could be the why that the medical, like that is cannot overcome, and this gives opportunity to think for the scientists, for the young, the industry as well, and then for the young mind to think more for the future should not have that. And what come up, if you can see the lot of literatures, a lot of science is working now. One of the major factor in when the aging society comes, aging people come, the immune system becomes weaker and weaker. Now, how you can recover the immune system, how you can make immune, the immune system is the system which is a defense mechanism for us, for our body. Now, how we can increase, how we can, when you are young, when you become adult young, we can say, we have a lot of, dynamism. We have the good food, we do exercise active. If you are not, then obviously there are a lot of problems come, obesity, and those things are another place, malnutrition in other, which I not cover. But then this one factor was obvious there, the nutrition, the immunity. Now it comes a point, is immunity can be increased if you get the good food in that. And one of the factor is coming, the aging malnutrition, which has been very abundant after this pandemic, has given a lot of attention to the people like us who thinks twice how to make that. The malnutrition we have been talking as a general for the, especially for the kids, the young people, right? Or talking about the mothers, pregnant mothers, or the giving the newborn baby who are not getting enough nutrients, especially when talking enough nutrients in malnutrition. One of the factor comes the proteins, then comes to the vitamins and minerals also. It's not only the calorie-based food. Actually, I can tell you that I'm busy with in the workshop, which is for talking about the future foods. We have around 70, 75 people discussing what could be the scenario. One of the topic also is thinking about how to overcome this type of. So the aging malnutrition is one of the major factor which has been now found, which creates such, and the casualties or deaths, the rise of those people, I mean, more than a millions, you can see that. And it was in 100 years ago when the pandemic came for this Spanish flu, was a similar situation what we are today. So this, as the medical science have been improved like such a way or not, Now that's the question marks comes for all of us to think, and especially the young people who are sitting here. You have a lot of questions to think yourself, and you need to find the answer, right? So here we are talking on the food, healthy food. What could be the possible? Now I can say there are combination. There are, if you learn about the functional foods, if you have heard somewhere, plus medical food, two things are coming together. And when we take the aging, you know that in our societies, especially in the Asia, Africa, and all, there are a lot of people other than the malnutrition, and the malnutrition is mainly comes with the protein peptides, which is not giving only energy, but you need your immune power to increase. And the combination of that is you have the good amino acids, it's called essential amino acids, means good proteins coming from whether animal-based, or now you know that we are getting more on the vegan sides, means the plant-based diets. But then plant does not have all type of essential amino acids, which is still on the research, how you can make the fully plant-based the foods, which can be which can be more healthier. Then, but animal-based, like the eggs, contain all type of amino acids which we need for our. Then it comes to the vitamins, which is very essential for our factors, cofactors to work for our body, or our cells, which are the immune cells, which produce a lot of, the complements things for body to get the defense antibodies to produce in our body that gives. So that should be combination. How we get there, that's question. So I give you some of the tips, what the need to be done along with, and the second is the medical food. Now medical food, why? You know that the people have been getting a lot of, when aging comes, immune system increasing, our tissues have been getting degenerations, right? So that has to be regenerated by some sort of mechanism. And one of the mechanism or the ways is to have the better food systems. Or if the people have been, the multi-factors are there, already immunism less, means not compromised, then you have, getting the weaker and weaker. And then the other type of disease, like especially the lifestyle diseases. When you talk lifestyle diseases, one of the most prone coming in our society is the diabetes, right? So cardiovascular, which is the diseases which comes like due to a lack of a lot of problems where the glucose is not properly metabolized, with the lack of insulin, and you know that millions of people are suffering. The other factors are coming. The very prone is coming the inflammatory bowel disease, which is another prone. It has been in the developed countries earlier diagnosed. Now we are seeing in the Asia, Africa, Australia, these countries have been increasing very fast drastically. So need to change now the life healthy, the pattern. And that not only in the aging, it has to start from thinking from the onwards. So our eating habit, the food habits have to be changed. We have been eating a lot of processed food. Now processed food is good, but it is easily available. But at the same time, it contains a lot of, and we don't know how much is this what we are looking for actually then. So that's why the question marks are still there to bring. But for when I came, I just wrap up with the saying that what need to be done for the healthy diets for the people who can. So one major need to be in there is a good amount of proteins of the dietary intake of the daily requirement for the people who are aging, that can increase the immune systems, right? Which can give a lot of antibodies to produce enough antibodies the people can handle and tackle themselves. That's the defense mechanism to be improved. For that, one is the protein is must to be requirement to put. Then comes the vitamins, which has to be enough, all the vitamins. And when I talk vitamins, all type of vitamins, one of the major vitamin, you can see that in the COVID-19 also gave a lot of attention. The vitamin D has been very much correlated in the diet. If the lack of vitamin D, and especially it found in the current scenario, because due to less exposure to us on the sun, we all like to sit in the room and work, not going out. We don't have exposure, and the sun is the major source for the vitamin D. So majority of the people are lacking of this vitamin D, okay, which is required. Like in any adult or the people has to be more than 30 microgram of in the blood hour, but we are finding that it is 10 to 15 even in the youngest people, which is not a good scenario. And the vitamin D is very much essential for the immune systems to be activated. Then you saw the vitamin C and vitamin B complex, which is very much essential. So you need to look for what type of food we have, which can give this type of vitamins along with the proteins, right? And then obviously the people need calories as well. Now the calories is not a good to give the white rice or eating the sugar or sugary materials, which is not good, which will give you a lot of problem with the cardiovascular disease problems. So what is the alternate of that? The alternate is the fibrous food. Now, what is the fibrous food? Which contains like the cereals, right? The millets, which gives a lot of fibers per hour, is actually, it's not easy digestible. Sugar or carbohydrates are there. So that is needed here. So you need a lot of fibrous foods. Now, a lot of fibrous foods come from vegetables. Now, if you current scenario, we are, especially the, the people in current scenario has been more prone to eat the meat, which is lacking our vegetables and all those, and the millets, which has been underutilized, especially still like if you read the FAO organized websites, underutilized content, which is need to be now more incorporated, because the carbohydrates there is still very much digestible. So that gives us sugar, and the sugar giving a lot of problem to us, direct sugar. So the fiber is like, which is not digested by enzymes in our gut system. Rather, what they do is go to the large intestine, which is the colon, where we have a lot of good bacteria, which needs the food, and that they convert into this smaller molecules, which are essential for immune system to increase. And that good bacteria is called probiotics. So if you see the current scenario, the probiotic, which is good bacteria. So I always suggest my students when I teach my class, eat every morning 1 bowl of yogurt, which will give you more healthy life eating as well behavior. So change your life eating habit, eat yogurt every morning, and you will find that how much better, because yogurt is a natural way of having the good bacteria. And you can see in the markets, it's coming a lot more. So probiotics is that, and then you use the fibrous materials, which is called the prebiotics, which is good for good bacteria as well, and which you need to in our the daily diet to contains. Okay, so that really give a lot of, so that has to be changed. Now, along with this good food, if the people are aging people, especially having problems with the disease, what we need to have is more foods there, which contains less sugar, less carbohydrate. You can design the food, that one, that's called the designer food, right? And that designer food contains all sort of proteins, more cereals, more, like you can design a bar, which contains the daily intake, right? Which contains high fibers, high proteins, and combination of the vitamins and minerals, what is the requirement for that. Now require vitamins, vitamin D, and you learn that a lot of people have started eating zinc. Now, if the food contains a lot of food we have around here, which contains a huge amount of zinc, you eat every day vegetables and fruits, you don't need to buy the tablets of those to eat. So the food can be giving all the supplements. Now, if you have heard about the personalized food, and the personalized food is that according to the demand, the vendor can give you, like in the machine, can give you all sort of things. You can give, like the AI technology can help now this. And we have this, and the new technology is developed. I just give you some ideas. And if you have later anybody to ask question, you can send me a message. I will not be there, but I will try to send you through that. I will be communicating with Professor Nofia, and then we can, I can provide you some answer by sending message. There's a new technology is coming, which industry is aiming for 3D printing foods development. And what is that 3D printing is that there, we can develop a layer by layer of the food materials. And some of the successful, the snacks have been start developing from there using this 3D printing technology, which has been earlier in different type of commodities or different type of things to be developed. Now we're coming in the food industry. And this is the required, especially for thinking of the aging society, to make such type of foods where they can have, you can make the soft food, because you know that when you get the aging society, aging people, There will be a problem also in the oral cavities, the tooth problems, a lot of other problems. So concerning that, you can design the food having the enough those materials, enough type of like either soft, semi-solid or solid. But solid food is not good because digestibility problem as well. So a lot of problem on thinking. So that is also coming for personalized food type of making there. And if it is like the people are having the diabetes or suppose any type of cardiovascular or renal problem, then you need to think of what type of food can be easily digestible and can be detoxified as well. So all these things combinations is very much needed thinking that because you need that other, I mean, aging society for health, like I told you in coming and even in Thailand, the already government strategy is here because this aging society gave a lot of medical expenses in billions. So how to reduce that? The one of the measure is that if you make a food which is main designed for this aging people, which can reduce the medical cost there. So the government has already given a lot of thought and asking industries to develop innovative products which can be mainly designed for those people who are needing such type of food, which is good for them, enough calories, for immune system to enhance, which is combination of proteins, vitamins, minerals, right? All those things are required, right? I just give you one example, like one of my student, PhD students, we have started a new project to do that to get the egg having high vitamin D there. Okay, that's with the combination of one medical school here, myself and company there. The three we are planning to work with the trying in the layer eggs. The chicken egg will be there, which contain higher amount of vitamin D because you know the vitamin D source is very, very less. Whatever we have in some foods is get destroyed by our cooking methods. So we are looking for that. If we are success changing the diet pattern of the chicken, then so chicken can give, so chicken means layered chicken, not the meat chicken. Layered chicken, which can produce the egg. This is just a starting one of my PhD student, and we are trying to work with the government, with one medical school and one company here together, so that if you eat the egg, you have 1 or 2 eggs per day, you can get enough vitamin D if you are success. We also study on that after cooking, like making the omelette or fries or boiling, whether this vitamin D is intact or not. That's also the part of this study. Okay, so this is one innovative thought to bring, which can be helpful for society, and our society can be beneficial of one component, but the same way, like you have to thought on another one to bring as well. Okay, so I stop here. Thank you very much, and I will be happy to have any queries now and the later. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Professor Nopia.
Yeah, thank you very much, Professor Anil. I think your experience, your views really are really very important for participants to think, and they are actually today they start to hack it. They start to do their works, and mainly by listening to different kind of experience, views on what is going to happen. So for that, I would like to give a floor for a few minutes, for a few questions. If you have any, I think participant, it's good that you try to think. I think Professor Anil give you different aspects of healthy food for elderly. So you try to pick up 1 or 2 of them and try to search for it to find out more. And from there, if you have not decided what problem you are trying to find out, then you can pick up what Professor Anil was saying and do some search, and then you will find the problem you want to solve. Okay, so any question from the Zoom and also from the classroom? Yeah, okay, we see one hand raised. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Professor. This is Shamim Noor. My question is basically about food productions that due to having applications of science and technology uh, uh, in the agricultural sector, we can see that the number of the number of increases of foods across the global or in developing countries are increasing, but at the same time we are thinking about the quality of the food, so that we increase the the total productions of the food, but at the same time we are just thinking about the deteriorating the quality of the foods. And sometimes we just heard about the chicken, especially if I say about chicken. We can produce more chicken, but at the same time, in most cases, we heard about just the quality of the meat is not good, or sometimes we can find some harmful ingredients in the chickens and something like that. So how can we solve these problems that we are producing more, but at the same time we are decreasing the quality of the food?
Okay, this is, I think, little bit different topic than what we are talking today, because the quality is one of the major issue on safety and quality. Okay, that has been ongoing and that will be continuing. The simple answer for this is which country you belong to?
Me? I'm
Yes.
from Bangladesh. I'm from Bangladesh. Yeah.
You need, if you are working in the Ministry of Agriculture, it's your job to increase the quality. If you are a student, it's your job to push them to, this is totally is the policy, okay?
Yeah.
To make the quality ingredients. There's the technology that never says that you have the deteriorated quality. You know, what we do is, like there's a huge issues. The chicken or meat or animal-based products having a lot of antibacterial residues, hormone residues are there. It's all because our policy is not working properly. That's the major factor. So if you have the policy which is not in the black and white only, okay, that can make. So the production high, obviously industrial, we have been in, you know that we say the green revolution came through the industry. That's not the green revolution for me. That was the more white revolution, because that brought a lot of chemicals to be used. Okay, when I was a student, my background is veterinary medicine. I was in 90s, we can produce the chicken because you are right. But then where is the problem that I'm saying? The problem is with the policy. Because when we studied there, it took 4 months to produce 800 grams of chicken, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now current, in 4 weeks, we have 3 kilograms of chicken.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it's nothing miracle. Miracle is there. There are a lot of things introduced there. It's not genetically modified. That's also the thing. Genetically modification is different. So what is working? It's the nutrients, it's the nutrition. Obviously, if you give nutrition, if you talk with the company, you keep happy at risk. But from the 800 gram to reaching to 3.2 means 4 times higher within 20 years of time. There are a lot of revolutionized made. And what revolution is make is that you use the growth factors, growth materials, which is antibiotics, which is hormones. You know, the growth hormones are using there.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes there. Now, using excessive there, there's a limitation. Like Codex, if you know about Codex, Codex has the limitations of that, right? FDA has given limitations of the use. But as an industry, what we want to earn money more. So what we do is we use excessive. And excessive is our body, our chicken body has the metabolism rate at a certain rate. You can't go beyond. Then all these residues coming along with the meat, what your health is coming. I think this will be more, if I go in this type of questions, if we have another hackathon, which is talking about the food safety and quality, this is very right question. And that has to be one of the major concerns, which is currently in the last, I told you in the 4 or 5 days, we have been discussing with the European and ASEAN on this aspect as well. How to improve, how to not to have the dictate, why we are thinking only production high. I was talking like yesterday, my talk was there. Why we are talking only production, while 30% of our food is already wasted, which can be saved. Then I can save 25% food security, I can solve like this. if I can easily not to have the waste or loss of the food. So those things we are talking with the FAO. I mean, having some projects continuing working on that. So these type of things are there, but all of them is the job of industry, science also working there, and policy has to be in between to bring, and policy has to be very strict. Like in Thailand, I can tell you one example. Thailand is going to make HACCP, one of the food safety system, mandatory for even small enterprises, because a small enterprise, a small medium, you can't ignore, because they are the, the backbone. 99% is the SMEs. If you talk about Bangladesh, in our countries, 99.9% is SMEs. So you can't ignore them. They have to be the part of this thirst. And, the policy has to be very strict regulation, mandatory, like in Thailand is going to make one of the food systems, food safety system, are mandatory, and starting from the chicken industry, I tell you. So that's like the same time, but then the cost will be increasing if you are not doing, like the chicken from one of the company here. The normal chicken is 60 baht per kilo, while we are going to get organic, which is 5 times higher, almost 300 baht. People affordability is less, right? So that becomes the premium, but slowly that will be coming. So the first thing is that we need to know what type of quality food we produce. That is obviously known, and science already says that how much is needed to grow there. Still to be worked, but at the same time, policy has a big role. Okay.
Okay.
So
yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. Yes. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you very much. I think for the sake.
Thank you very much, Professor.
Yeah. I think for the sake of time, we are a bit behind the schedule. So I would like again to say thank you very much to Professor Anil for your time and your sharing your experience. And I would like to move on to the next speakers. Mr. Eka Mol Patayanang, the president of the Thailand Association of the Blind. So he's going to talk about digital technologies and living habits of the people with disabilities. So Mr. Ekamal, if you are ready, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ekamon Patyanan, the president of Thailand Association of the Blind. I am very honored to be here and to talk with you today. The lives of persons with disabilities have been facing the difficulties in doing daily activities and in accessing to the rights for a long time. For example, blind people cannot read the printed materials. Physically disabled people cannot commute from home to schools and from home to the workplace because of the inaccessible accommodation and inaccessible transportation. As well, deaf people cannot understand the news on TV due to the lack of sign language interpretation. So one of the best way to empower persons with disabilities is to promote them to access to human rights and to access to citizen rights. Absolutely, presently, the advancement of technology has contributed to the promotion of rights of persons with disabilities. Conventionally, I think the white cane and wheelchair help blind people and physically disabled people to access to the rights to travel. For me, I am the partially sighted. I am low vision, so I use the magnifier to read some short message. That means that I can access to some printed materials. And during the past 10 years, the smartphone helped disabled people, especially the blind, to live more independently and to live more easier. We can read printed newspapers online. We can order food and products online. We can call the taxi online. And also we can use Google Maps. But most importantly, the website and application developers need to aware that when you create the website or application, it must be able to work with the screen reader function or screen reader program so that blind people and disabled people can use the smartphone to make their lives easier. As all of you are potential and you are full of potential, you have a public mind, I would encourage all of you to just think about the difficulties, think about limitations and barriers that disabled people are facing. And then you can work hard and you can research and you can come up with your technology that can solve and can remove those barriers, can solve the difficulties. When I was young, when I was a student, I go to school by bus. Sometimes I need to wait like for 2 or 3 hours because I don't know the bus number and no one told me which number is coming. Sometimes I need to wait in order to cross the roads because I don't know whether I can cross the roads safely or not at that time. I think sometimes I go to buy a grocery at the supermarket. I go to buy the grocery at the convenience store and or department store. I really want to know which product on the shelf and its details like its price, its qualifications, and I don't know that. So it is much difficult to do the daily living, and like I need to have an assistant so that I can do my daily living activities. I think if you can imagine and you can come up with the technologies that can solve all these problems, it would be good for disabled people. I would motivate all of you to think about the technology that can serve the majority of people. That means it is not about the technology and its qualification itself. You may need to think about the cost and the price of the technology as well. Blind people may need to have a smart cane that can navigate the directions for us and can avoid us from crashing. But if it is, if the price is too high, it cannot be affordable by the majority. So one thing you may have to think about is the cost of the technology when you initiate or when you create the new technology. And finally, I believe that this event and all of you will be the part to create the better world for us, the world with more equality, with more happiness and inclusion for everyone. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Ikamal. And this is very, very insightful. And I think many participants get more ideas what the people with disability really want. I think I could see that there are many opportunities coming from there. You know, starting basically from the website that you can have a function where the people with disability can, you know, can search for it, can just read, then can understand what is written in the website, and or Google Maps or bus numbers, and anything that I think the participant could think of. And also, you also raised another important point is that about the cost, that you know technology is possible, should be no cost. But if the cost would involve, it should be at a minimum price so that we can serve the majorities of the people. So I think that's a very important point. And ours hacking direction, we also encourage the solution to use the open source technologies, so that which is mean it's almost free for that, and also because we want all solutions to be related to the SDG, so which means there are opportunity to go to the impact market, So the impact market means that you can have technology that would be supported by the impact investor who want to see actual or high impacts on the society, especially on the people with disabilities. So with that in mind, so I would like to take one or two questions from the floor. So if you have any question, please. Okay, so I could no. Did we get it? Yeah, I think because I do not see any hand raised. So if you have any question afterward, you just send to the organizers. We can also try to communicate with Mr. Ikamal after that. So again, for that, thank you very much, Mr. Ikamal, and we will find a very good solutions. I mean, many solutions that will support the people with disabilities. I hope we can get some of them coming. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, I think for this morning we come to the last speakers. Dr. Mustaq. He has very rich experience in Asia and here and there, and also in Europe across the continent. And he see many things as happening with elderly and technology. And he actually one of the person who like technology. So he will share his experience and opinion on this. So the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, or very good early morning for Geneva. And today, in few minutes, let me try to raise few ideas for you to look into that. When we are saying that we want to bring the better life for adults or with disabilities and so on, what does it mean to most of the people? So if you are living in a room, how the room should be to enjoy or being healthy there, for example. If you are in a house, how the house should be. Then if you are in a town, how the town or city should be. We call healthy city or healthy town and so on. And then that city or town is a part of a country, so then it's a global. So it's basically we are talking about this planet. Because from room, if you are zooming in on a room and zooming out to the planet, there's a lot of interconnection to make this room or this house in a way that can create wellness, well-being, and provide all the ingredients for a healthy life. And those ingredients, as you have been listening, suppose Dr. Anil was talking about food. We're talking about water, clean air, for example. You're talking about the access to the education, access to the healthcare, for example, access to the entertainment, social life, economic opportunities. So if you look on all this in one package, that how you create that house, room, and how that planet can help to support that, that means we are talking about the 3 planetary crises to overcome. One is climate change. As you have seen, that is affecting everyone, regardless of age, regardless of disabilities, and so on. So this all global warming, this flooding, this droughts, even the temperatures, everything is based on the climate change that is affecting a lot. And that's where the point is how we can bring this climate action to help healthy planet that can help the well-being and wellness of the adults and the people with the disability. Number 2 is the availability of the natural resources, even, I mean, for food, for water, for clean air, how these natural resources are depleting, contaminated, affected, the biodiversity. So how we can ensure that these natural resources are in a sufficient quality over the time for intergeneration and intergeneration equity to create the healthy or support the healthy environment for everyone, including adults and people with disabilities. The third and last one is a pollution. And as we have seen, unfortunately, the most of the vulnerable people who get affected because of their age, their biological systems, their exposures, and all this are adults, children, people with the disabilities, and so on. So with the air pollution, with the water pollution, with the soil pollution that transmits into the food safety, including with the plastic pollution in the fish and everywhere. So if you talk about any pollution, chemical pollution, lead in pants, you name it. So how you overcome this pollution action to create pollution-free planet for a supporting healthy environment for everyone, including the adults and people with the disabilities. Now think about the action side: climate action, nature and biodiversity action, and pollution action. How the action can be taken? As suppose Dr. Anil was mentioning, 25% of the food safety can be achieved quickly, avoiding food loss and food waste. How you avoid that? Why most of the food is wasted? Here is the demand and supply issues. That this is a perishable, vegetables, fruits, and all this. So if we are not matching that with the demand and supply, a lot of loss is there, and also the transportation, cooling technologies, and storage, and so on. So basically, when you're looking on the role of the digital technologies, apps, that how you connect the demand and supply, supports with the shared economy, like reducing the number of cars, you have a shared cars. Again, with this Grab and all those apps, you can easily connect. Then with the big data, you can create the demand and supply scenarios for the efficiency. With these technologies of artificial intelligence and robotics together, on the one hand, you can directly help the adults and people with the disabilities, but on the other hand, this robotics and all this can help even to avoid the pollution, like how the plastic leakages can be avoided, the hazardous can be avoided with the help of the sorting, where the artificial intelligence and robotics can play its part to create the circular economy rather than waste, and so on. So you're looking on the Internet of the Things, you're looking then again, suppose you are sharing, you have an energy crisis in many countries, including like my country, Pakistan, for example. And to meet the healthy environment or that room for with a better energy, if you're talking about the solar energy, then again, some places you may have access to the better solar because of the roofs and so on. You may not have some. So again, how you can turn the blockchain to share that access energy across. Same with the rainwater harvesting, the catchment areas, roofs, and so on. So how you can share the water using the blockchains and all this. So you can think about the role of the digital technologies for the climate action, pollution action, nature action, sharing the resources with each other, and so on. So at that note, I want to leave this for your questions to think about that how you can bring the digital technologies to create or support the healthy planet that supports the wellness and well-being of adults and the people with the disabilities. Any questions? Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Mushtaq. So I think it's very brief but very important different aspects of technology, how technology can be used to help the elderly and people with disabilities. So he discussed from the Web 2 technologies, from graphs until Web 3, the blockchain technology. So there are ways that you can, because in this hackathon, you can always go for either you go Web 2 or Web 3, it's up to you, as long as the solution, it could be useful for the elderly and people with disabilities. So if you have any questions, please raise your hands, or you can type on the chat box so we can see here together. Yeah, come on. Any question? It's fine. As we said earlier, these three speakers today in the normal, at a regular daily basis, it's not easy to meet them. Now you have opportunity to meet them, to ask them question directly. Why not? Just try to ask something.
So I want to ask you a question. If anyone or any of the groups or teams are there, being also as a role for, they put me as a mentor, that to see that even for role of the digital technologies for pitching, when you are going to pitch, how do you best use the digital technologies to really express or bring the things on the same wavelength? Because when you are going to impress the investors, let's say, and you have done all the background study, all the investors, their choices, everything, now is a matchmaking that your product, your idea is what investors are looking. That's number one, that has to be there. Number two, that idea is translated in a way that you are understanding equally on the same wavelength, same frequency. So that's a pitching. So even think from that side. So one is the content, as I mentioned, about this digital technologies for healthy planet that supports the wellness and well-being of the adult society or aging society and people with the disabilities, but also how you can see the digital technologies can help you to pitch. That is very important. So at that note, I wish you all the best, but if you have any questions, please feel free.
Everyone's still shy to ask questions, but I think now today, everyone will need to identify. I think maybe some of you already did it last night, but today is most importantly try to identify the problem that you are going to solve within the selected a challenge. And yesterday we talked about the SDG canvas, so try to make use of that. And sorry, before I let you hack, I just want to show you the prizes and then how your solution would be evaluated by the jury. So let's stay with me in the next few minutes, and then you can start doing your work. So yeah. Okay, so this is what we have the prize for you for the solution. So first we call it SDG Open Hack prizes. So that is, the prize. Those who get the highest score would be receiving the sustainability prize and then impact prize and technovation prize. And this prize, it's very much, it all depends on the evaluation by the jury. And then we also have a popular prize through popular vote. So what we do, we will ask all participants to vote for the technology that and the solution you propose. And those who get the highest vote, you will get first elderly, what we call it, elder wellness champion. So you will get that. And then the second rank is what we call beautiful life champions. It basically devoted for a solution that solve the problem of people with disabilities. So how it is evaluated? So this is the criteria for evaluating your solutions. So we use 20% weight. It's all 20% weight. So sustainability solution. Sustainability solution is 20%. Digital solution 20%. Product design solutions 20%. And then social impact 20% and team pitching, so 20%. So what we do is we will give the jury a form. I think we design on Google form. We use the Likert scale, so we will have, it's again, it very much depends on the jury. So we give the freedom to jury to give evaluation based on, let's say, if your solution has little to do or not really fulfill sustainability innovation, for example, then you would get number 1, scoring number 1. But if they evaluate that your solution is perfectly match the sustainability innovation, they would give 5. Okay, so then all the answer to these 5 criteria will have the score from 1 to 5. And when we sum them up, the team that get the highest score will be selected for the prize. So I hope you are clear with this. Okay, so then how the jury evaluate your sustainability solutions, digital solution, product design, social impact, all depends on their judgment. Okay, we have all the qualified jury who will be judging your evaluations, your solutions. So we have Dr. Thomas from University of Geneva. We have Ms. Stephanie from Open Hack Geneva or University of Geneva, and we have Dr. Mustaq with us today. And from the UNEPS in Bangkok, we have Dr. Nantanut. And then we have Professor Dieter. So these are the 5 jury that will be evaluating your solution. Okay, so I hope everything is clear to you. And I think that should be it for today, right? So any question from the floor? And don't forget, if you want to make appointments with the mentors, it's better to do it today, early today. That better. I got one appointment. It's going to be today at 7 p.m. I'm not sure it is okay, but because you start doing the hacking now, it would be good if you try to make appointment with the jury. With the mentors as soon as possible before you start doing the work. If not, then I would like to close the morning sessions and let you hack. But we have the Zoom open for you. If you have any question, just text it. And as you know, we have Slacks, we have Sparkboard, and we also have Facebook page. So any of these channels you can use to communicate with the organizer, with the mentors. Okay, if no questions, again, we use good luck, and we'll see you at lunchtime. We will have, we will have show, right? So we will have, at lunchtime, we will have cultural show. It's about traditional song by 2 Myanmar students, right? Okay, so don't forget to come back during the lunchtime to see the cultural show by our student. And then at 6, we will have cross pitch session. So that we want to check how far you have achieved. And this session will be taken over by the Geneva team. So you know they are midnight now. That's why nobody on the Zoom today. And they will be on the Zoom from 3 p.m. Okay, so for that, wish you good luck and I'll see you around. Thank you.
It's unfortunate that this year, because of COVID, people are not talking too much about climate change. They're not talking too much about biodiversity, when in fact, most people in 2019 thought that 2020 was going to be the year for these two topics. 3, 2,
Could you tell us about the main point of the hackathon?
Well, the main point of the hackathon is to bring a forums where students can make use of their ability, their skills, their networks to solve the problem of sustainability.
Hello everyone, we are from
Very faster.
We are from Mahidol University from a faculty of ICT. We joined this hackathon because we recognize the problem of transportation that is happening inside Thailand. As a youth of Thailand, we truly believe that it is our responsibility to tackle this issue, and that's why we are here.
We try to use technology to empower the economic development and inclusiveness and also the entrepreneurship spirit.
We are from ICT Synergy.
So today we're here to join the Hackathon 2020, and we're interested in this event because, well, it looks interesting, right? And we think that we're gonna get a lot of connections. We were thinking along the lines of something addressing the government COVID policies.
And we have to develop our economic system, social system, and our technological system within the realm of nature. So that kind of information, that kind of awareness we have created. So I think with that, I'd like to welcome again to this Sustainability Hackathon, and I hope that you will bring very interesting idea in order to hack.
We will release a challenge. So the challenge for now is one of the best secrets on that planet. Only 2 people know it. Our president, Eden Boone, and Nopia. So if the challenge come up, I know you might be very, very tempted to think about, Google, what other people do, but you may reconsider, Think about it yourself before you look what other people do. Try to put your own thing into it, the new disruptive way.
One of the things that many universities around the world are trying to do these days is to connect with the outside world more actively, and doing that, it's a two-way communication. So we learn from what the industry needs, and so the universities can develop their curriculum, their research, and their ideas to meet the demand of the industry.
Well, first of all, they will realize how important sustainability is because they'll be researching this topic as they try to come up with ideas. So this is a learning experience which is extremely valuable. Secondly, they will be using their brain and exercising all their brain cells to try to figure out innovative and creative and wild solutions on how to tackle problems of dealing with sustainability. So who knows? They may come up with things that are extremely important for all the rest of us. And whether or not they do that, at least they will go through the journey of trying to find solutions to these important problems for the human race.